Hello everyone, it's good to see you all back. Today we're diving deep into the world of Void Volatile Hunter builds, as I have a few I'd like to show off before I share some of the other Hunter builds I have in stock. This setup is all about maximizing your damage output and crowd control using the exotic Monarque, the Orpheus Rig exotic boots, and a Volatile Marksman seasonal mod. If you're looking for ways to nuke enemies from orbit, but also getting your super back in under 10 seconds, then the following is something you're going to want to revisit again. So let's start with the exotic weapon, Le Monarque, and the exotic trait, Poison Arrows. It states, arrows fired quickly after a full draw become poison arrows. Precision hits with poison arrows stun the combatant and spread poison to nearby ones. Strong against overload champions. Le Monarque and Graviton Lance are two weapons that are insanely popular this season because of the Void seasonal mods available. Even when these new mods aren't released, they still provide a strong and satisfying level of play when used in most content. Being able to poison multiple enemies at once has its benefits when volatile rounds are added into it, and having this now, it freely accessible via Volatile Marksman, it takes the Monarque into an entirely new realm of damage and ad clearing. But like I said, this can be swapped out with other Void weapons if you prefer something faster, something more harder hitting, or even flexible to a degree. Our second exotic is Orpheus Rig with exotic effect Uncanny Arrows, which states, provides ability energy for each target tethered by deadfall anchors. A Mobius Quiver has an additional shot. I was going to use the class bond combo that would allow more combos and utility of the build, but decided to go with the following, as it offered just the right amount of firepower to our super would greatly benefit. Being able to get 50% super energy back from enemies killed via tether, and also getting 10% ability energy back as well, allows the build to work hand in hand with the chaotic nature of Le Monarque and the seasonal mods. As long as we tether multiple targets at once, we can get beyond 50% super energy back quite easily, while also getting our Transcendent State and Gunpowder Gamble to occur on multiple usages. This for me seems like the best choice, as you can maximize how much damage you're doing on multiple enemy types, while also greatly benefiting how central the kit is around the singular weapon. For aspects and fragments, we have the following. A Gunpowder Gamble, where getting ability kills, elemental debuff, or solo weapon kills will charge up and improvise explosive. A Starless Executioner, where defeating a target affected by an elemental debuff grants invis and true sight. A Facet of Sacrifice, where while having an arc, solar, or void buff, ability final blows grants additional darkness energy. A Facet of Dominance, where void grenades weaken targets, and your arc grenades jolts them. A Facet of Balance, where rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy. Doing the same with darkness damage grants you grenade energy. A Facet of Protection, where while surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. And a Facet of Solitude, where landing rapid precision hits emits a severing blast to the target. The setup is customized in a way where everything in the kit will support our main primary or secondary and heavy weapon we have in hand. Such an example of this where our two aspects will benefit from each other upon kills being made. With Volatile Marksman in hand, this will trigger the two aspects on a consistent basis while also triggering Elemental Siphon, Malign Harvest, and Void Flux seasonal mods. All of these on a singular weapon, like the Monarque, is a sure way to get your damage up much faster on groups of enemies, while also dealing with the more harder enemies, such as ogres, wizards, captains, etc., when dealing in 1v1 situations. I will also include adding a Facet of Solitude as a must as well, because how often we can get precision damage. This in action will allow my weapon to debuff the target with the following: Volatile, Weaken, and Sever effect. You can expand on the strand effect further if you add the Vial Weave and Disrupt the Spike seasonal mods, two mods that pushes the length of what Sever can further do. Now Balance is going to be giving us a healthy amount of ability energy back when triggered, while Protection will increase our defenses when surrounded. Two fragments I believe are needed for the most builds just because of how good their passive effects are. Lastly, we do have Facet of Dominance, which can also allow us to weaken or jolt targets depending on the grenade used, and Facet of Sacrifice, which is going to help build up how fast we get our darkness energy for our Transcendent State. I only have a secondary stasis weapon to help bolster this area a bit faster, so having the two with us will aid us with getting our Transcendent State up quickly. Now like shown, the build can switch between Transcendence and our super fairly well, with little downtime involved for getting it back up again when needed. This is beneficial as it means ad clearing is so much more easier when both special abilities are balanced out to be charged and recover at the same time. And now for the mods and stats, we have both Resilience and Discipline marked as priority, while Strength will be enhanced through Transcendent State. Resilience with ours at tier 10 for a 30% damage reduction. Outside of Transcendent State and Elemental Resistance mod selected, there is nothing more you need to add to help protect yourself further. You can possibly add to Shred seasonal mod for a woeful male if you can find a way to activate it, but if not, then the following is just fine. Discipline, we have ours at a tier 10 for 53-second cooldown via magnetic grenades. This will be combined with Facile Dominance for further weakening effect on targets, but most importantly is a very strong grenade type that will detonate 2 times on a singular target once attached. Something like this can be handy when used against the more mobile targets who tend to hide a lot and avoid taking damage when out and about. This grenade can be swapped to storm grenades instead, which do offer more damage and jolt effects, but this will vary on what you are after personally and if you need another way to weaken targets directly or not. However, having these mods aimed towards our class armor will also be helpful down the line. Impact Induction for a 12% grenade recharge, Momentum Transfer ×2 for a 17% melee recharge, Recuperation if you need a quick way to heal, and Distribution for a 4% all ability cooldown is recommended. Additional mods we have the following: Harmonic Siphon for creating orbs of power with magic elemental type, Ashes to Assets where getting a grenade kill grants you super energy, Heavy Finder, Reserves and Scavenger mods for a heavy weapon, Charged Up ×1 for a +1 armor stat we carry, Void Surge mod ×1 for a 10% void weapon buff, and Time Dilation where decay and armor charge rate has longer duration. As we have covered our exotic primary weapon, I will then advise you to pick a super weapon for the build. These are all optional like recommended. As secondary, we have the Tenacious Mastery with Reverberation and Chill Clip. This will be helpful for quite a few enemies such as the Knights and Captains who I may need to deal with up close and personal. Personally, the weapon will serve its role as being an anti-barrier and unstoppable weapon all in one, while also being super strong against anything else that will cause us problems. As a heads up, this will trigger Stylish Executioner because of its debuff effect, so if you are after a quick way to go invis besides voice subclass, then this combo is the right way forward. Heavy, we have the Doom Petitioner with Reconstruction and Precision Instrument. A deadly and very great weapon combo to have because of the rarity of the perks to have. Not everyone can get this, which I implore those who never got it to actually get the Taipan 4 FR instead, which offers similar rolls but is a different frame type. For those that do have the weapon, this is the roll you should try and get, as it will provide a consistent DPS along with the seasonal mods applied. I also have the Parkour Deconstruction mod applied to it as well, which when used against Unstoppables, can kill them within 3 bursts. You would be sorely missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime for using this flexible and very common hunter build on Prismatic. While using this on Void does give you the option to expand how often you become invisible over time, and also provide ways to weaken and apply volatile rounds, this version of the build allows you to do all that, but just through a handful of seasonal mods. Having Volatile Marksman, which allows us to get volatile rounds from rapid precision hits, Melee Harvest will rapidly apply volatile rounds on a target, causing them to release a weakening blast, and Void Flux, where defeating weakened target with the Void weapon applies volatile to all targets nearby them, allows weapons such as the Monarque to absolutely decimate enemies and bosses on a higher endgame content. I assure you, this is very broken with a few Void weapons available, as this can be linked up with a Fragments and Aspects for even more collateral damage over time. Take Gunpowder and Gamble and Stylish Executioner Aspects. Both of these can be triggered by our weapons and allow an easy rotation of invis and extra grenades at our disposal. Combine this with Facile Solitude and Elemental Siphon for a constant elemental pickup and weakened effect, and you can further nuke enemies from orbit. Did I also say that you can get your super and prismatic state back up pretty fast as well? It's actually pretty crazy how fast you can spam the 2 back to back in the crowded area, as you can in action get your super back in under 10 seconds. And this is all achieved via our seasonal mods, aspects and exotics, but mainly the seasonal mods, which I highly recommend you give a try before this season ends. Arc is still a no-brainer for the Titan and Warlock builds we used, but Void Hunters have it really easy this season, and if you're not using the following at all, then you're missing out with how crazy this is to use for farming GMs this season. So there we have it. I hope you all enjoyed the build breakdown. If you have any thoughts and content shared, then please leave a comment below. But if you enjoyed the content and want more of these videos, then leave a like, a sub and a comment while you're here. Dim link for the build is located below in the pinned section, and I do advise you to check out my playlist for more. It was great sharing today's video with you all, and I hope to see you again soon.